Hello everybody, welcome to Dagon, Lovecraftian game, spooky game, free to play that I found on Steam. Yeah, let's get into it. Dagon is a faithful interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequences, or inventory management here, and movement is limited, the processing through locations along with the plot. Oh, progressing. Process. Yep. Words. I know words.
I'm writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
Okay. Oh. During the game, you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey. Others reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. That's cool. I know H.P. Lovecraft and I know some of his stuff, but I am not as well versed as I would like to be, so this is cool. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look out for the Elder sign. Okay. Oh, okay. This kind of reminds me of the space game. Oh man, I'm so terrible with names sometimes. Yeah, the space game
Penniless, I played. And at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
Okay.
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate.
Sure. No degeneracy here. Yeah, no.
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
Okay. Well, tell us about it. Oh, sweet. Oh no, I continued. No.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
There was a thing I could have clicked on there. And I messed up. Messed up real good. Real good. German sea freighter, huh? Is this World War II?
The Great War was then at its
okay,
beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation.
Is that the First World War? The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation. Huh.
So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
That's kind of them, I guess. Oh, okay. Okay, so that's continue. Don't continue. Don't continue. There we go. Oh man, I missed some of the other. Okay. The Huns were Central Asian nomads who established a dominion in Europe. Yeah, so that's World War I, right? Yeah, 1900s. Okay. Wait. Oh, that's yeah. Okay. Wait. World War I was later than that, right? Oh, it says during World War I. Maybe if I just read and stop skipping ahead, you know, I wouldn't sound stupid. Okay. Who established a dominion in Europe and invaded the Roman Empire. Shout out to the Roman Empire for whatever reason. In the 5th century AD. I always forget that the Roman Empire was so recent. They were known as not recent, but they survived way later than I always remember them. They were known as as brutal, deadly warriors and masters of quick raids who also developed powerful composite bows, lassos, and early siege weapons. During World War I, the British used the word Hun as a synonym for Germans. Weird. In order to emphasize their brutality. However, the term originated when the German Empire... oh man. Oh, I can't read today. Okay, the German Emperor Wilhelm II gave a speech to his troops on the 27th of July, 1900, before they embarked to China. Should you encounter the enemy, he will be defeated. No quarter given. Prisoners will not be taken. But he was taken prisoner. Whoever falls into your hands is forfeited, and just as 1,000 years ago, the Huns under the King Attila made a name for themselves. One that even today makes them seem mighty in history and legend. May the name German be affirmed by you in such a way in China that no Chinese will ever dare look at it again. I cross-eyed at German. That's... wow, okay. A little racist there, buddy. Makes sense. Early Germany. The refusal to take prisoners was a clear breach of the laws and customs that were adopted during the first... ooh, I'm going to butcher that word. Hague? Just going to go with Hague. Convention of 1899. Okay. Interesting. Maybe if I didn't butcher reading this, it would make a little more sense. Read it for yourself because I'm terrible. Wild. Okay, cool. Show trivia upon finding them. Oh, you can read the discovered trivia immediately or go back to them later. Oh, so I missed that one. And it's gone forever. Turn off displaying trivia if you find that the feature distracts you from the story. No, I like it. I like it. Any more? Alright, let's move on. Okay, so he was captured by Germans, but...
so liberal, indeed,
it said they didn't take prisoners.
By our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
Isn't that weird? I'm not crazy. We're on a German ship, but they said they wouldn't take prisoners. Oh well. Maybe it'll come up later. Or is he German? Oh, man, I'm so uncultured. I don't know who's... that looked like a German flag, I think. But maybe I'm just crazy. He's German, and he got captured by someone else. I guess we'll have to keep reading. Okay. What do we got here? That continues. Got any trivia? Okay, so it's not everyone. Alright.
When I finally found myself adrift and free,
We escaped.
I had but little idea
Let's
of
go.
my surroundings.
Naturally, it's all kind of just fucking ocean, man. It's all ocean, my guy. Ocean man.
Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator.
That's pretty impressive still. That's pretty good, dude.
Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Yeah, I see that. Let's look at the moon there for a second. And oh, we do have like rations and stuff, maybe? Maybe? Hey!
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting
Did you
either
guys
for
hear
some
that too, or
passing
is that
ship
just me?
or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely, what else can you do? Like... oh, you have water skin. Is that one paddle? One paddle? Oh, that's rough. That's rough, buddy. Okay. Okay, yeah, I am hearing that. What birds would be here? I don't see no birds. Oh, I don't see no birds. It's just whales, just whales.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving
Come
vastness
on.
of unbroken blue.
I can see why, like, olden day sailors would mistaken, like,
The change happened
sea life
whilst I
noises.
slept.
Oh, why they would, like, mistaken sea life noises for creatures, because that's terrifying.
Its details I shall never know. For my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
Oh! Yeah, that's not good. That's not good, buddy. Oh! Oh, I don't want to look him in
When
the
at
eyes.
last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see.
Oh, he did have two paddles. All right.
And in which my boat lay grounded some distance away.
Is this the ground? The ground's got a lot of tentacles coming
Though
out of
one
it.
might
Okay.
well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished.
No, that's valid. Why would you be admiring this? Dude's looking you in the eyes and you're just like, what a beautiful sight. What a wonderful thing with all these tentacles and my ship over there and me on a fleshy island.
For there was in the air and in the rotting soil a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core.
Oh, good. At least it's actual soil and not flesh. Okay.
The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish and of other less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain.
Yeah, no, that's horrifying, my guy. Like, how'd you get here?
Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear.
Yeah.
The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to
No
me
shit, my
almost
guy.
black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
That's cool. I have heard what little I know about H.P. Lovecraft is he's very, very descriptive about every little thing. Ooh! Ooh!
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position. Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
It's a reasonable thought, but like, why is he half in the mud? And who is this little guy? Is this one of those, oh man. I don't even know their name. They're the little crabs. The ones that are like, they believe they've been around forever. I wish I could remember their name, but I don't. I'm just...
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might. Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems here, my guy. Oh! Oh, I didn't see the big fish. Can we not? Oh, yeah, cool. Okay. Mystery of volcanic islands. Volcanic eruptions sometimes result in the creations of islands. Yeah. Most of them are transient and erode after some time, but some prove permanent. The floating pumice, porous rocks created when superheated pressurized rock is ejected from the volcano, can move across long distances and transport barnacles and macroalgae that cling to it. In 2001, rafts of pumice created during the eruption of a volcano near Tonga, Polynesia, eventually reached Australia. Wild. Interesting. Interesting. I wonder what that has to do with the story. I guess let's find out.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat,
Ooh,
which
I don't
lay
like the
upon
light.
its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens.
Nah, I kind of wish the sun would stay gone. I don't want to see all that. Poor guy, everyone else is just wiggling and he's just like, oh, the sun. I know he probably ran out of water in his gills long ago, but look at him. Everyone else is moving around and he's just, oh. I don't like that thing either. Like, you're not even going to question the big jiggly thing out there that's breathing.
As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time.
Okay, that's good.
That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
Oh, he's still wiggling. Okay. What do I got? I got a pack. No symbols. Okay.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease. The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like just the ocean all over again, and except it's mud. You know, there's nothing around. What can you do? Ugh.
All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
Yeah, no, you're not questioning those? Well, the morphine makes more sense now, buddy. Morphine makes way more sense. Oh, no. Oh, don't look at me. No, don't look me in the eyes. We're friends. Oh, poor guy.
That night, I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock.
No.
That object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
You're talking about that object? The big mountain thing? Big mountain? Yeah, okay. Okay. Are you compelled to walk towards it, or are you just kind of chilling, just moving towards it?
By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance.
Yeah, no shit. That's a mountain.
An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill. I know not why my dreams were so wild that night.
I could tell you.
But ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more. Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again. And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day.
Huh. This game's really beautiful. Really beautiful. I haven't really commented on that yet, but the graphics, they're doing a really good job, and so far kind of building up the creatures. In the beginning there was a nice mix of creature. There wasn't any mix of creatures. It was all like real ocean life, half buried, and then progressively we've gotten a little more like fantastical and like, yeah, I like it. I'm digging it a lot.
Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy.
Okay. Oh, I don't like
Indeed,
that.
I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset.
Oh, don't like that.
Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Oh, there we go. Ooh, the loner. Contrary to popular opinion, Lovecraft was not an ever-frowning, eccentric, grumpy loner. He considered himself to be a person who appreciated humor. That's funny. Moreover, he would often meet with friends in his apartment or at various cafes in Brooklyn or Manhattan. In Manhattan. Oh man. Oh, Manhattan. Oh. At times his social life was so intensive his work would suffer for months. That's so fun. It's like Junji Ito, the creator of that. If you haven't heard of it, it's a manga. I believe it started as a manga, but he's very happy-go-lucky, and then people like to compare him to Studio Ghibli owner, and how he's all doom and gloom, and they're opposites. It's very funny. It seems like people who are more into horror, not to generalize people, but it seems like people who create really horror-filled things are usually more bright as people, and it's very easy to see them as described here. There was a point when he finally decided he needed to put an end to his daily meetings and loitering in New York City cafeterias, and resorted to hiding at home and reading with the main room light turned off, pretending he wasn't there whenever a friend knocked at the door. So he was an outrovert and he became an introvert. He also had another method of deterring his guests, which involved greeting them in a bathrobe with an unmade bed visible in the background and a pile of papers scattered across the floor. Alright, cool. He's like, I'm not dealing with anybody
the
today.
Broken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine. I felt myself on the edge of the world.
Yeah, I love the visual of it too. It does seem like we're on the edge of the world.
Peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
Yep, that's there's nothing.
Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost, and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
Okay. Beautiful colors too. There's something eerily calming about the night sky though. I love the contrast of just seeing the beautiful night sky, the moon shining very bright, And then just the dark abyss as you look down. That's really good.
Ledges and
Love the
outcroppings
visuals.
of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent.
Okay.
Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the
Only.
declivity became very gradual.
Only a few hundred feet. Yeah, no big deal, no big deal.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze,
There it is.
I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath.
Interesting. It's almost like a
Gazing
building out
into
there.
the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me. An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Weird. Yeah, why wouldn't we just move on, I guess? All right. I have free will right now.
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself. But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
Yeah, no shit, man. That is not nature. Like, what?
A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
Oh, beautiful. Look at that cloud. Just floating away. Compelled by this stone. What do we got? Anything? Any trivia for us? Nope.
For despite its enormous magnitude, and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith, whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Yeah, you're not even gonna question how it got there? How it's like... Oh! Okay. Yeah, no, let's just walk up to the creepy monolith.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm. And revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
Incredible build-up. I love how the background noises are getting just more and more intense as we get closer to this thing.
The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books. Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like. Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world, but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Dagon contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through carvings at the Mountains of Madness, the Nameless City, journals and character notes, or characters' notes, The Shadow Out of Time, The Hunter of the Dark, Islands Emerging from the Ocean, The Call of Cthulhu, or fictional beings and deities based on real events and mythologies. Migo and the Whisperer in Darkness. I wish I could read today, but I cannot, apparently. It's also considered the origin of the popular Cthulhu mythos. Some of Lovecraft's other stories also conclude in a manner similar to Dagon, but let's skip the details in order not to spoil the ending. Nice, yes please, okay.
Plainly visible across the intervening water, on account of their enormous size, were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré. I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men. Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto.
Yeah. I like how wispy they
or
look.
paying homage at some monolithic shrine, which appeared to be under the waves as well.
Hey, like what we're doing.
Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
What do you mean? They look great.
They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall.
That one looks like he has 4 eyes, but, you know. We don't judge here, we don't judge.
Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
Ooh, okay, that's, yeah.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe.
Haha, yeah, sure, haha. Yeah. Yeah, no, that definitely,
Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Whatever you need to cope, my guy. Whatever makes you feel better.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it.
Oh no.
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters. Vast,
Yep.
and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith.
Oh, breathe quieter, breathe quieter. That is horrifying.
About which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
Okay.
I think I went mad then.
Yeah, reasonably. Reasonably. Very reasonably. Oh,
of my
man.
frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
He didn't look like what was on the monolith, though. He was just kind of big. Just kind of a big, beefy boy, you know?
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Wow.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
Interesting. Is the ocean falling back down?
When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital. Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention.
Yeah, just crazy. You're crazy. He went mad
Of
out there.
any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
That's fair. Yeah, no, just kind of let it go. It's alright. You know what you saw. Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1915, he started publishing his own journal called The Conservative, which included political and social documentary, poetry, short stories, and literary criticism written by him and other authors. Howard was a skilled wordsmith, but he also took criticism to heart, which resulted in his decision to step away from writing and poetry and concentrate on weird fiction again. For the first time since his teenage years. Oh man, if I just... my reading is awful today. Okay. Dagon, published in 1919, is one of the short stories written during that period. In this example excerpt from The Conservative, the master of horror fiction explains his attitude towards warfare and the idea of world peace. Why any sane human being can believe in the possibility of universal peace is more than the conservative can fathom. Should the entire civilized world agree simultaneously to disarm, one or more nations would undoubtedly remain secret armaments, and the proper time take advantage of their more altruistic and less astute contemporaries in a wild career of conquest against unarmed victims. That's so true. That's so sad, but so true. Humans will never agree on world peace because they're so either untrusting or they just have their own agenda. It only takes one person to spoil a good thing. Yeah. It's very sad. He's so true. Where was I? Blah, blah, blah. Career contest against the unarmed victims. No country is or ever can be above warfare until the basic impulses of the human animal shall have miraculously changed. Yeah, like the whole world has to change basically for us to even have the idea of world peace. It's kind of sad to think about, but yeah, as soon as one person decides that they need to take over, or that they even have a fear, if it's not like a, because it's not always like a really bad person is just like, yeah, I need to take over everything. Like, even if you do it out of fear, yeah. All right. Yep. That's cool. What a smart guy. Which makes sense because his writings have stood the test of time.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon,
I actually
fish god.
Don't know what an ethnologist is. Ethnologist? A social scientist who studies different cultures and societies and the characteristics of people who want to live in them. Yeah, the team included a cartographer and an ethnologist. Okay, cool. Interesting, okay. And amused him with the peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon and the fish god. Dagon was the main... I feel like I've heard Dagon. I feel like I've heard of Dagon. The ancient god's fertility and crops. Okay. Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was a common noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as the patron saint of their war conquests. He also appeared as the judge of the dead in the Assyrian poem and the underworld. Oh, and an underworld prison. Ooh. Okay. He's often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name, as in Hebrew, the word dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft's works, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that resides in the ocean. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. Interesting, so that's what we saw, standing in front of the monolith. Huh. Interesting. What else can I see? Ah, hello.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
Picture stories, picture stories, picture stories. What are those ones? I see Japan. I mean, Necronomicon is bright and right there. Looks like something in Japan. Huh. See, perceive. I don't know. Ah, okay. August Derleth was an American writer and anthologist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works through his company, Arkham House. Although he greatly contributed to the I don't know why, but I thought that was 2 words. Then it stopped here, but that's still just popular. Although he greatly contributed to the popularization of the author's works after his death, I'm just going to blame it on the font. The font is fine and it's beautiful, perfectly fine, but it's the font. It's the font's fault that I can't read. He is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of his most questionable decisions involved introducing the good versus evil doctrine. Derleth was a devout Catholic to the Cthulhu mythos. Oh, my goodness, yeah. He was a devout Catholic to the Cthulhu mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to the cosmic horror. As a result, the author's works are often misunderstood and misrepresented in today's culture. It is also worth noting that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology, and the term Cthulhu mythos was coined by Derleth after the author left the mortal plane. Interesting. Okay. So this is kind of the after story Lovecraft lore, I take it. Do you have to stare at me? Were you staring at me the whole time? Were you staring at me when I was looking at those books over there? Oh, you want to fight or something? Okay. Okay.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing.
Oh.
I tried morphine.
That's so creepy.
But the drug has given only transient surcease, and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Wow. Lovecraft hated tobacco, even though he used to smoke when he was 12 in order to look and feel like an adult. In his correspondence to friend Reinhard Kleiner, He claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. I wonder what that means. That sounds like it's a saying, wearing long pants. He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol, as evidenced by his letter to Zelia Brown, dated 13th February 1928. As for the matter of drinking, I have never tasted intoxicating liquor and never intend to. Having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts or coarsens the delicate nature. Equipoise? Natural equipoise. Wow, I've never said that word ever. Of the evolved human intellect and imagination. Do you ever read things in your head and then you've never actually read them out loud, and they sound so they sound so goofy when you actually try to read them? There's poise. Equipoise. Okay. Drinking excited my personal repugnance. Hence, I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will. I am rather in favor of prohibition. The prohibition of any one antisocial force as well as of any other. Source: Spirit of Revision, Lovecraft's Letters to Zelena Brown and Reed Bishop, H.P. Lovecraft, Sean Brannery, Andrew Lehman, S.T. Joshi. Okay, yep. Yeah, so the morphine makes more sense
Often,
now, my guy. It's okay.
I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm. A mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war.
It was German. Okay.
This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny warring. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Wow.
The end is near. I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it. It shall not find me. God, that hand! The window! The window!
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, that was immersing yourself in our little pool of cosmic horror. Yeah, I don't play many visual novel games, but that was very well done. It's very well done. It's so it's cool. There's fantastical things about it. Obviously, H.P. Lovecraft, all the tentacle horror and stuff, but man, at the end there, it's really hard to tell if he's just gone mad with all the things he's witnessed, and that's why he goes for the window, or if this thing has actually been stalking him this whole time, because he said every waning moon, he sees it, or he hears it. Wow, yeah, that was really cool. That was really awesome. if you guys are interested in like hearing all the noises yourself, check it out. It's free on Steam, and it looks like they have a bunch of other games and stuff too. So, wow, yeah, that was really well done. The voice acting was great. I think the visuals were beautiful. Yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you guys next time. Bye. See you later.